Are neither of us talking right now?
Well,
we should just tag like 100 people and see if we can get the best live show ever.
We can share to a group. We can do that now.
I guess.
Why don't you ever do that?
I don't know, because I don't know what I'm doing. Because then see what happens. Then
oh, great! Now we can't see anything.
But we can.
Happy Friday, Brad.
What's
hello,
up,
Jessica. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, hello. We've got an amazing, just earth-shattering news update, big stuff in the pipeline. And also we have the show.
Yes, absolutely.
So today we got the greatest thing in the universe. We've got 5. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, Katie. What's happening, peeps? What's up, Jess? Okay. 5 things you should not do for your clients.
What? We should not do things for our clients?
5 things you should not do. You
Are
should
you
not.
sure?
Listen, this is like this will land you on the Realtor Naughty list, or you're quite frankly just not doing them a service. Where's
Really?
the camera? The camera's on this side, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Look out.
You interrupted me in the middle of what I was saying.
Okay.
Really?
It probably wasn't important.
Whatever. Because I think our job is customer service, and it goes against what we're saying of like, you know, you're supposed to do stuff for your clients all the time.
Wow. Hey, excellent point. However, this is going to surprise you a little bit. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get right into the first thing that we're going to talk about, number 5, just so you guys can see what we're talking about here, right?
Yep.
Okay, so number 5 is don't sugarcoat things. And I'll give you one quick example, and then you could just talk away for an hour, all right? Like, let's say, for instance, you have a buyer. Let's just say they're offering, let's say they're offering 80% of whatever the list price is. Now, if your buyer wants to do that, it's kind of like we have to do that, okay? Yep. We kind of have to do what they want. However, if that's going to hurt them in the long run, it is our duty at least to let them know. You know, when I was a rookie agent in the business, I would be so excited to just write that offer. I wouldn't care what it was. I'm like, what? Let's just offer them $1. Who cares? You know? But it's counterproductive sometimes, because sometimes you'd give that to some seller, and that seller gets really offended and angry, and then no matter what, they won't work with that buyer at all. Yeah. And that's the danger of something if you sugarcoat things, and you're like, if you're too soft on, like if your buyer says, hey, I want to offer, 75% of the ask price, do you think that's okay? And then if you're like, oh yeah, that's great, but the average at your company is 98% or 99% or something like that, or 97%, which is kind of MLS average, you should at least let them know, hey, look, yeah, I'll do whatever you want me to do. However, the average right now is 97% in Lake County, and if you do this, you might risk offending the seller.
Sure. Yep, I think not sugarcoating things goes in all aspects when you're talking to clients and whatnot. You showed somebody 40 houses and they haven't narrowed down cities, or they haven't narrowed down type of house or anything like that. There's something else going on that you need to help them figure out, right? And that conversation sometimes is not fun to have with them. Of like, hey guys, we got to sit here and figure this out. Do we not have, now that you've seen all those houses, do you have different, do you have different areas you want to be at? Do you have a different type of house, whatever, so that you guys can kind of get everything fixed and back on track. Oh, he's waving at everybody. He's waving at everybody.
Not everyone. The last 3 people.
That's what I'm talking about. I think I'm done. Yeah.
You're done?
Yeah.
Okay, she's done. So we'll move on to number 4.
That means he wasn't listening at all, just so you all know. Anyway, does this surprise anybody? Nope.
Are you done?
I am done, yeah.
Okay, number 4. Do not undermine the professionals, the mortgage broker, the inspector. Now, I will say a caveat. If let's say they come to you, they've got a mortgage broker that you're unfamiliar with. You look at their like their truth in lending or their closing disclosure or whatever they have, their fee sheet basically. And let's say you see it's bad. And I will say this, before the Great Recession in like 2008, you saw there was a huge discrepancy in fees. I would say like now 4%. Most of the lenders right now are really good, honest, ethical brokers and lenders, and the competition is so tight, it's like a level playing field almost. Every once in a while someone will get a cool program or something like that. But if you see a buyer is getting gouged, in your opinion, you might reach out to that broker and just say, hey, the fees seem extremely high. Is there any reason for that? because they might tell you, yes, you know what, the buyer has very marginal credit or something along those. I can get it done, but it's a riskier program and the interest rate is higher or the fees are higher. Sometimes, and you don't want to tell your buyer that before you do that research, because if you tell your buyer basically you're getting gouged on this mortgage and you don't know that that's the best deal they can get, then you've just undermined their mortgage, you know?
Well, what you have to remember sometimes is trust too. You know, if that mortgage broker is a friend or family member, or they have been working with them for 6 months and you just met them, you undermining the broker might not benefit you in the long run and may make them change realtors, right?
Yeah, another great example of that is the home inspector. You know, in the old days, a lot of times I keep saying the old days. Back in my day, we used to go to the home inspections and it was a good time. We used to let the inspectors in and we would walk around with them.
For 3 hours.
Now,
so much fun.
Yeah. Now the agents rarely show up to inspections because they used to open their mouths and contradict whatever the inspector would say. The inspector would say, hey, you see this crack right here? This one, you want to have this addressed. And then, you know, the inspector would walk away and you tell the buyer, nah, it's no big deal. You know, it's nothing. You can't contradict the professional. Unless you have a home inspection license, you shouldn't be giving your opinion on stuff like that.
Yeah. You know, the big tarp on the roof. Hey, that tarp on the roof, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the roof. It's fine.
Yeah. Water doesn't go through that anyway, right? It's plastic, ain't it?
You know, yeah. I always tell my agents, like, you need to be careful. Like, are you a contractor? You should not be telling that client whether that's a good or bad thing. Because you don't know, because you're not licensed to tell them, right?
That's right. Right. Be careful what you say.
Yep.
What other pros can people, maybe an insurance agent, maybe, I'm trying to think what other pros you can undermine with
Title?
Just your...
Maybe? Title?
Appraiser? Maybe? Yeah, appraiser. That's tough to, you know, because usually the buyer doesn't communicate with the appraiser.
Or title.
Or the seller, really.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a funny appraiser story. One time I was going to, a guy was getting appraised or whatever, and he came out with an envelope with $5,000 cash in it. What? He said, I have this just in case I have to bribe the appraiser. And I'm like, I go, what is wrong with you? I go,
you can't do that.
First of all, the price of the house was back then it was like not even 100,000, I don't think. It was like, I was like, dude, why, you know, anyway, it was crazy. So it was funny.
That's funny.
Luckily he didn't have to, so it was fine. But anyway, I was like, don't even ever tell me that. So anyway, I thought that was funny. Good appraisal story for you guys. Okay, number 3. Do not tell them your opinion of demographics, crime statistics, all that kind of stuff. If you can't back something up in writing, you should not answer those questions. I mean,
this neighborhood's good, but that one's not.
What does that even mean?
Right? So don't put your own personal opinions in when it comes to that.
Yeah, you might as well just call HUD right now and tell them you want to violate fair housing. Tell hold my beer, I got this. Let me tell you about these neighborhoods. It's crazy. Don't do it. Don't get yourself in trouble. Talk to your brokers. Your brokers will tell you, don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I just got what I'm pretty sure was a tester call. Remember, those are still out there. You get...
Well, there's a big expose in New Jersey with all those brokers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
when you have people literally asking you, what are the best schools? What is the best neighborhoods? Isn't this area great? What are the crime rates? I got triple the other day on a phone call, and my opinion was demographics. Every city has their own. My job is to help you find an area that you like. My job's not to give you an opinion of what the areas are like.
Yeah. Talk to your managing broker. Ask them, hey, where should I direct these people? Because I still think as realtors, we should point them in the right direction of the answers, but we, you know, unless we did a census ourselves and we know the exact everything of someone, we can't answer those questions.
Yes.
And quite frankly, our customers don't expect that of us. They ask us a question, you know, but we don't have all the answers. Right? Are we good on that one?
Yeah, I just want to say I've seen like up to 22 live viewers. I think this is the most live viewers we've ever had,
the most live people,
which is awesome.
Do you think it was my old-timey realtor voice? Hey, what back in my day, people
Comment
used to
below
watch us. People
Craig,
used to watch us on Facebook.
If Craig has to do the next show entirely in that voice, for the record.
No, I probably won't do that. My face is turned red already.
It is. I love it.
That is weird. Usually I don't respond like that. Okay. All right. So... number 3, we already did that one. Okay, so number 2, this one's a big one because I hear this one all the time. Do not pollute your client's opinion of value. And I'll give you the The stereotypical thing is, let's say you're representing a buyer and you tell the buyer, oh, this will never appraise out.
Yeah.
Are you,
That's not good for anybody.
What?
Because if you really don't know and then you go to do comps and you're like, oh, it will appraise out. Now how are you going to get out of that hole that you dug into?
Well, first of all, I've seen houses that I comped out fine. I've seen them not appraise out. I've seen things that I could not imagine how on earth they could comp them out, and somehow they get comped out.
Yep.
So we're surprised by almost every appraisal. And for the most part, it doesn't happen that frequently where things don't appraise out. I would say maybe 10%, maybe not even.
Yeah.
I would say like maybe a certain percent actually go over full price, a certain percent, but I would say the majority, the clear majority, I don't know what percent, but the clear majority appraises at whatever the purchase price is.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So, so that's it. Anything else? How else could you pollute your buyer's opinion of value? Pointing out all the mistakes
the
with the
negatives
house,
in the
all the
house.
negatives.
Yeah.
You know, it's good sometimes to do some of that. I like to do it like this. And you guys, once you're doing this for a while, you know when you're walking a buyer through a house, you know when they love it.
Yep.
And you know when they hate it.
Yep.
So when I take the opportunity is when I know they hate the house, that's when I'm going to be like, I'll be like, oh man, look at this crack over here, or something like that, like to where I'm
on the same page with them.
Yeah, I'm
building
showing
trust.
them, and then when they love the house, I might not point all that stuff out as much, but I will tell them, hey, if they say I'm not going to get a home inspection, I say no, I think you should get a home inspection. So you can do that without spoiling. Because realtors have a lot of power in the transaction. We have to respect that and not, if you go in there and tell them how bad this house is or something like that, you're doing yourself and them a disservice.
Yeah.
Condition of the neighbors' houses. Yeah. I mean, well, and you can see that just by looking, Kevin. Like, hey, look at this neighbor's house. It looks they're not keeping up with it and things like that. Yeah. And that might come into question with the appraiser, because the appraiser has to talk about the neighborhood and stuff like that too.
But I think like when I walk through a house with a client, I'm very quiet. Like I'm trying to do more of a personal connection, especially for somebody newer, versus worrying about the house so much, right? Now, it just depends upon if they start saying negative things about the house, then I might start pointing out different things. But I'm always going to point out major defects that I can see, or defects, I should say, not major defects. Defects that I see that might be an issue, because it's doing your client a disservice, I think, by like, hey, there's a bowing foundation wall and I could have pointed it out to you, but I'm going to let you write an offer on it anyway, right? So I think, you have to walk a fine line with some of that too.
Yeah, a lot of times I would handle that. I usually would just ask them a question. I would say, okay, hey, did you notice this wall down here in the basement where it's kind of bowing a little bit and there's a crack right here that runs the entire length of the foundation? I mean, are you okay with having an expensive foundation repair done? And then they might be like, you know what? Yeah, as long as it fixes the problem, I'm okay with that. Because there's a lot of systems. They have an anchoring system. They have all kinds of systems you could do, French drain systems, all kinds of things where you can make a house. I almost feel almost every house can be fixed and brought perfect.
Well, and that's the thing. You can't assume that you know what your client's opinion will be.
Yeah.
And that kind of, I think, brings us into number one. So our top one is make decisions for your clients. You should not do that. It should always be your client's choice, and you should be like the guidebook that helps them with the questions that they have.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest one too. Yeah, and don't make decisions for them. Another thing I would say is do not play hardball without their permission.
Yes.
If you play hardball with another agent, like I'm going to get them more money for the house or something like that, you have to be very careful, especially if you get multiple offers and things like that. I've had some sellers that don't want to do multiple offer notifications because I've had it where I had 3 offers. I send the multiple offer notification out and all 3 buyers walk. They say, nah, we don't want competition. We're out.
So our job is to tell them the scenarios. Okay, you want to do multiple offer. This could happen. This could happen. This could happen, right? It's your decision what you want to do. That's what our job is. Our job isn't to say, all right, we got to send a multiple offer disclosure out now. That's the next step, blah, blah, blah. You and I, all of you know that's not the next step. So you have to give that decision to your buyer or seller.
Definitely. We should guide them. We can be the best consultants for our customers, but we have to remember that role as consultant.
Especially, I get a lot of it on inspection reports. I get my agents ask me a lot, okay, well, what should they ask for? I'm like, no. It's not what should they ask for. You ask them, what do they want to ask for? And then you look for anything that you think might be an appraisal issue, point it out to them. If they say yes, great. If they say no, whatever. And that's it. It's not our job to pick through that and tell them what they should ask to get fixed and what they shouldn't.
And as far as appraisal issues go, there's a lot of realtors have a lot of misconceptions on what appraisal. Like I was talking to an agent the other day where they think FHA is so complicated to get an FHA transaction done, and
it's really not.
It's FHA. It's down to like it has to be safe. I think it's safe, serviceable, and something. There's like 3 S's or something like that, and it's up to the appraiser's discretion. So it's not like it used to be. In the old days, the roof has to have 12 months life left on it. You have to have railings on stairs. Now it's not that it doesn't have to have it, but if the appraiser says it's not really a safety issue for this particular house, then it doesn't need it. So it's one of those things. If you think that FHAs are complicated to get done as far as the appraisal goes, you need to talk to your favorite lender and ask them how it's going with FHA approvals on their appraisals and things like that. Because it's not like that anymore.
In the last year, it's rare that we get an appraisal that has conditions back on it. So, obviously the peeling paint before 78.
I still have not seen that in a long time though.
I did. We got hit on it a few times this year.
Yeah.
So, but that's like a major one, and then like the railings and stuff. We haven't really seen a whole lot outside of that.
Yeah.
Deck, maybe a deck not being finished. But
yeah.
There isn't a whole lot, and I would say that was not the case about 3 years ago. 3 years ago, It was like ding, 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 ding everywhere. So, So definitely.
If you go back even 10, 15 years ago, it was crazy. It was difficult then. It was difficult. FHA appraisal meant usually your seller was going to have to put some money into that house no matter what.
Yeah.
But now they're almost identical to a conventional, I would say.
Yeah.
All right.
It's getting there.
All right. Do we have any other questions for us?
I don't know. Does the viewing public have any questions for us right now?
Okay.
Crickets. We didn't wait very long. It was only a few seconds.
I know. We're stalling. We don't have anything else to do though. We did our top 5. That's good.
Basically, so we're done.
We could just fill time now.
I don't know. I am going to be on
Thank you, Misty.
I will be here next Friday, but I will be off. I'm on vacation the week after that.
Well, why don't we just pretend like we're professionals. We record 2 shows, and then the week that you're going to be gone, we'll do a recorded show.
I like doing live. We get more views when we're live, for the record.
That's fine. Who cares?
Whatever.
Don't think that
What?
I was going to say, don't think people are that, sticking by their computer waiting for our show to pop on, like, oh man.
We get so many compliments on our computers.
we do.
Our videos. Stop.
Which I appreciate. I guess I just can't imagine that, I just can't imagine people want to see our show all the time.
Quit deflating our value on the show, for the love of God.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Misty. Tell me I'm wrong, everybody. Tell me I'm wrong.
Whatever. All right, guys. We will see you next Friday then.
All right. Yeah. Sounds good. You guys have a great week. And hey, also, if you want some show topics, we've got a couple show topics in mind. But if you'd like to know something specific, put it in the comments or whatever. We do read all the comments. We look at all that stuff.
Yep.
And we do try to work them into the shows. As most of you know, because some of you have given us topics and we've already done that. So
for sure.
All right. Have a great weekend. And that's it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye, everyone.